There are many hazards that a worker may be exposed to in the workplace, but noise is certainly one of the most common. Not only does noise affect the ear and an individual's hearing ability, but it can also act just like other stressors on the body, thereby influencing the entire physiological system. For example, noise can influence the cardiovascular system and cause changes such as increased blood pressure, changes in heart rate, hormone levels, and blood cholesterol. Additionally, the stress of noise exposure may cause fatigue, annoyance, or irritability, ultimately affecting job performance. Unlike some other workplace hazards, noise does not typically have an immediate, dramatic effect, and as a result, people do not consider the cause-effect relationship between noise and hearing loss as serious. Noise-induced hearing loss has no visible effects on the ear, there is no bleeding, and most often there is no pain. Workers do not subjectively sense the early effects of noise, and hearing loss is so gradual that it is not until the speech frequencies are affected that workers tend to notice a hearing problem. And perhaps most concerning of all, hearing loss is irreversible. Not only does noise-induced hearing loss affect your workers' health, quality of life, productivity, and the safety of your workplace, it is also a compensable WCB claim. One way that employers can mitigate this risk is to implement a noise management program that includes both audiometric testing and health surveillance. Audiometric testing is required under provincial OHS legislation on a periodic basis that differs depending on the province in which you are working. For example, for noise-exposed workers in Alberta, Part 16 of the OHS code requires an initial baseline test be completed as soon as is practicable, but no later than 6 months after the worker is employed or within 6 months after a worker is exposed to noise above the occupational exposure limit, a periodic test not more than 12 months after the initial baseline test, and continued periodic testing at least every second year after the 1-year test. Most employers follow a schedule that requires annual audiometric testing for employees with abnormal test results and biannual testing for employees with normal test results. At Shift OHS, all audiometric testing is performed by certified audiometric technicians. When completing audio testing with Shift, here's what you can expect. All workers attending for testing will check in with reception. She will confirm the worker's name and company name and provide forms to be filled out for the appointment. These forms will include a consent form as well as the audiometric test form. The following information is required on the test form: personal identification information, such as your address, birth date, occupation, and ID number. Workers are required to bring government-issued photo ID to their appointment. Previous noise exposure information, both work-related and personal. Examples of this include working with equipment, using power tools, farming, riding motorcycles, listening to loud music, and shooting. It is recommended to try to limit noise exposure for 12 hours prior to an audiometric test, as this may affect the results. Health history information as it relates to hearing. The audiometric technician will review this information with the worker to ensure a comprehensive understanding of their noise exposure and ear health at the time of the test. The technician will begin by completing an internal and external ear exam, looking at both the ear canal and the eardrums. If the worker wears hearing aids, they will be instructed to remove them prior to the test. The technician will instruct the worker on the proper insertion of earplugs and will then insert the headphones for the test. She will instruct the worker to press the response button whenever they hear a beep, no matter how quiet or loud. She will then cycle through different frequencies, i.e. pitch, and decibel levels, i.e. volume, to determine the worker's level of hearing at each. These results will be reported on the audiometric test form and plotted on a graph. Audiometric test results are considered normal or abnormal. The technician will explain the test results to the worker and provide additional information such as instruction and education regarding hearing protection and suggestions for follow-up if required. The worker will be provided with an audiometric test card that contains their results at each frequency, as well as their overall result. The overall test result, either normal or abnormal, will then be reported to the employer. In accordance with Alberta OHS requirements, all abnormal audiometric test results will be forwarded by Shift OHS to our contracted audiologist. She will review the test result along with the worker's cumulative audiometric record, i.e. any other results we have on file for that worker, and provide recommendations for follow-up. These recommendations will be sent to the employer in sealed envelopes to be provided directly and confidentially to the worker. Completing and following these recommendations is the choice of the worker. To further assist our companies with OHS compliance and health surveillance, Shift OHS will also provide retest schedules at no charge to the employer. For more information about audiometric testing or to add audio testing to your program, call Shift OHS at 403-343-6869 or visit our website at www.shiftohs.com.